Punk fans are not thinking about this, and in this video, I'm going to get you thinking about it, and I'm probably going to piss some of y'all off with it. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is, because CM Punk, he is obviously in the middle of a feud with Seth Rollins, them working a match, Raw on Netflix, January 6th. It was a big deal. It was a big match. It was a big outcome for CM Punk. It was a big moment for CM Punk because this has been a match that has literally been in the works for over a year. When he returned to WWE in November of 2023, it was large fanfare. To a certain point, it still is a large fanfare because fans for years had been chanting CM Punk's name, and even when he went to AEW, it just wasn't quite the same. We wanted to pretend that it was, but it just simply wasn't. Him being back in WWE, it just feels different, and it feels right, and it feels special, and it feels like everything is fitting into place. And since then, of course, he suffered an injury in the Men's Royal Rumble match, and that derailed his WrestleMania 40 plans. Ironically, he was going to wrestle Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. Instead, he went into a feud with Drew McIntyre that was epic and that lasted the majority of 2024 before they wrapped it up in a Bad Blood match, or a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood, and that was fantastic. It's one of the best openers in WWE history. It's one of the best matches of 2024. If you haven't, go back and look at it. And then he resumed his heated rivalry with Seth Rollins. Now look, they have been able to bleed the reality into a storyline. The reality that Seth Rollins doesn't like CM Punk because he turned his back on Punk turned his back on Seth when he left WWE in 2014 when he took his ball and he went home, and they've done some epic promos since then. And as we go into 2025, and there's been rumors of who could do what and what match could do what, well, I think it's something that we need to discuss with CM Punk, because if you think about it, all the way back to 2021, CM Punk has been portrayed as a babyface, rightfully so. You would want him to be a babyface. You're going to sell a ton of merch, and the fans have wanted to see him back for so long. However, I also don't rule out the fact that CM Punk could absolutely be turning heel sometime in 2025, and let me explain that. So this is what y'all aren't thinking about. Yes, CM Punk is at the height of his popularity right now. I would think so as a babyface, and he's seemingly having the time of his life. But there have been various instances in CM Punk's career, whether that's ROH, whether that's WWE, where he has seen the moment of, now we need to turn heel. Now we need to flip face. Because if you ask most wrestlers, they like to portray heels. They, A, get to dominate the match flow, and B, it's a lot funner and a lot easier to play a heel than it is babyfaces. CM Punk is a guy that has been able to play both babyface and heel throughout his WWE tenure. I would absolutely love to see whenever, if he would feud with like a Cody Rhodes, or if he would feud with X, Y, or Z, including Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think him being a heel in those spots would actually elevate the feud, because obviously Cody Rhodes is their number one babyface right now, and Gunther is really finding his own as a babyface as he's in this tweener type character right now as he transitioned in being from a heel to a full babyface. CM Punk is actually a really good heel. In fact, I would make the argument that CM Punk is a better heel than a babyface. And with champions, Gunther, with champions like Cody Rhodes, like Roman Reigns, WWE is starting to lose out on some of its heels. They don't have a ton of top tier heel talent, right? Braun Breaker, he's not ready yet. Damian Priest is still a babyface. You have a Drew McIntyre. Although you wouldn't want to run back Punk and Drew. You could make the argument that Drew should get another title run here shortly, just based off of the work that he's doing. Please don't try to convince me that Solo Sikoa is a main event talent, because he's not. So there's a pretty giant hole, on the top of the card, in terms of heels, and especially on that SmackDown side. Now, obviously, I'm not saying Punk is going to leave Raw for SmackDown when the Netflix era just began. I'm not saying that. But I'm just looking long term. 2025 is here. 2025 is obviously a full year. 2025 brings a lot of opportunities, right? Raw going back to 3 hours. SmackDown going back to 3 hours. This transfer window. Seemingly, as we start the Raw on Netflix era, talent from SmackDown can just show up on Monday Night Raw. There's not a lot of grounds. There's not a lot of guidelines, if you will. The rise of Saturday Night's Main Event coming back and the monthly PLEs that we're all accustomed to. I don't think it's that far of a fetch to say that CM Punk will turn heel in 2025. I actually look forward to it because Punk, he's so good as a heel and he knows the exact little details and nuances and the things that can get under people's skin, the things that can just rile up fans and get them to hate him. He does them so easily. He does them in a way in which not a lot of other talent can do. And so if you see a gap at the top of the card right now, well, what's it going to be like in 6 months? It's going to be a bigger hole unless they fill it. And I don't think they have any talent to fill top tier heel roles right now. CM Punk on that, I like that. I like that idea. And I think he would agree if given the right creative. If you can say, hey, Punk, you can work Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship, and you can, potentially dethrone him and or just beat him, but you're going to do it as a heel, I think he'd be interested in that. Are you really going to do babyface versus babyface with him and Roman? Because, that's a big-time match that is going to happen eventually. Would you rather have a babyface versus babyface, or would you rather have a heel CM Punk, potentially have Paul Heyman turn on Roman and align with Punk, right? We had that brief interaction with him heading into Survivor Series War Games. Paul Heyman asked Punk to do him a favor by aligning himself with Roman Reigns. They've already planted the seeds in a future storyline with those two, a future feud, a future program. I would say that's pretty interesting. I would say that there is something to sink your teeth into. I would say that that's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen, right? So you may call me crazy right now in early January, but I don't think it's that crazy. I think there are clear indications, clear opponents, clear star power that Punk can work with as a heel, and I think it could actually work. Now, sure, is his merch checks going to go down? Of course. Is he going to get some resentment from the fans for turning heel? Of course, but that's part of being a heel, right? And in WWE, they've always been a babyface type territory where the babyfaces historically don't hold the championships that long, right? You have heels come in there and take the titles from the babyfaces, and the babyfaces earn more money from chasing. And I think that could happen here. And I think Punk could be a good transitional champion for a Cody Rhodes to lose to, or a Gunther to lose to, before you set up your next babyface. I think Drew McIntyre also fits in that category as well. So there's a lot of interesting pieces for CM Punk in 2025. There's a lot of interesting names for CM Punk in 2025. And there's a lot of interesting directions for CM Punk to go into in 2025.